Welcome back to a bonus episode of Big Business. Now, this episode today is kind of like not Timberland playing on my phone. Sorry, I just opened my phone and it was from when I was in the car. Anyway, oh gosh, sorry, it's just automatically playing everything. Okay, this is off the back of last week's main episode, which is titled Starting My Own Modelling Agency. So if you haven't listened to that one, be sure to go and listen to it. It's all about the week that I had last week, and now I'm back. We have done our first ever Fayt model search. And I feel like I can't say too much in this episode. I want to tell you all about it and how it went. But we're now in the part, this week, where we're going to be contacting everyone and kind of making our big moves. But I thought we could still do a recap because I learnt a lot from doing this. And you know what? Bless. My nan watches my Instagram stories. And she had seen us being away all week, and bless her, when I spoke to her on the phone on the weekend after I'd been away all week, she said, I've been seeing you been everywhere and catching up. But she goes, but what were you doing? She just couldn't quite understand what it was. I was like, oh, Nan, it was a model search. And she said, so why would you do that? She's so cute. And I was just trying to explain it to her, and she's just so funny.
So the big question, when will we find out who won?
Ooh, okay. I feel like I've got to be careful with what I say on here.
Yes.
Because by the time this comes out, the people that we are contacting will have been contacted.
So have you got, in your mind right now, do you know who is the overall winner?
It might be a bit different to that.
Okay.
But I can't say.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that we've done the things that we're going to do before this episode. But this episode's not coming out until next
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. So we've got a while, but I can't be too careful. I've got to be careful with what I say.
Yeah. I'm intrigued though.
Yes. And we will be announcing stuff on social media. I don't know if by the time this is out, if that will have happened yet.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
Because we're recording this.
Yeah. So maybe people will see what we have decided.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say yet exactly in case it takes us a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of admin to do.
Yeah, totally. Can you walk us through the process and what that was like and what it was like meeting all the gals?
Yeah, okay. So, by the way, when we recorded our episode, Xander, I got some of the stats wrong. So I said to you that we'd had 7,000 people apply.
I know, I noticed that.
It was actually 9,000.
I know, but I had to keep it in.
No, that's fine. But that's just crazy. So the last time I had looked, it was 7,000, but April's like, no, there was another 2,000 because we...
Just round it up to 10K.
Yeah, you know what, 10K. But it was actually, 9,000 people had applied, but we cut it off at a certain date and removed the link from everywhere. But I think people still managed to find the link and still keep submitting even after we'd closed the application kind of thing. So heaps more had trickled in. So that in itself is just absolutely wild, and a walk through what it looked like. So we started in Sydney on a Tuesday, and again, I thought we'd had 30 to 50 per day, but it was more around 30 that we had per day, which thank God it wasn't 50, because after meeting 30 people one by one in a day, my brain was broken. I just had lost my mind. So I couldn't imagine if we had done 50, how exhausted you'd be by the end of the day.
Now you kind of understand how they felt on Australian Idol.
Yes. Oh, God. And when you're doing a casting and you're meeting people, and I'm obviously representing my business and this whole activation, you've got to be so on for every single person, even though it's kind of like doing a heap of job interviews in a day. You're having the exact same conversation with every single person, but you're slowly losing energy throughout the day and you're repeating yourself over and over, but you've got to be so on. So by the end, my brain felt like it was broken. So we had around 30 to 35 each day in 3 groups of 10. So each group of 10 arrived at the same time. Let's say they're time was 9:30, and then I would go into the group of 10 and do like a bit of a TED talk kind of thing, like a big chat to everyone about what the day is all about. Like I mentioned in the main episode, everyone was already a winner, and we had a lot of people say to us, like on day one, you know, we ask in their little interview, like, why did you apply for the model search? And a lot of people said, I'd love to be part of something like this and something that you're doing. And very quickly, it made me realize the 100 and something people that we met over the week, they're already a part of Fayt. And that's what I said to every single group as I realized people are saying, I want to be part of this. By applying online and being shortlisted and coming to our casting, every single one of those people that we met last week, they're a part of Fayt forever, because we've never done anything like that before. And to say that they made it that far and came to our in-person casting, I said to all of them, you are all now a part of Fayt today and forever. Just, you know, you don't have to be the winner to be part of Fayt. Just by being there and like putting yourself out there, you are part of Fayt. And I thought that was something like really special that we shared with them all. And, you know, I stressed to them all, 9,000 people applied and you're here today. Like that is something worth being so proud of. So I did like a little 10-minute talk at the start when each group arrived. And then one by one, they got like a little headshot taken by the Fayt team. And then one by one, they came into like the second room where Wade and I were. And they were with us for about 4 minutes on average. And they walked in and Wade and I had about 30 questions written down, just like fun personality, get to know you questions. Again, it felt kind of like a job interview. And we would just ask them about 2 to 3 questions each. And then we would get them to finish up by doing like a pretend fit check reel, and it'd be 5 minutes and they'd be out the door. And it made me realize 4 minutes goes so fast, so fast. And we said that to all of them at the start. Now, Wade, who did the casting with me, he is my friend and he's also a model. He said that model castings generally can sometimes be like less than a minute. Like you can walk in and they could just look at you in a line and be like, you, no, you, no, you. And it's that cutthroat.
I said that last week, remember?
Yeah.
That usually they walk in, they barely even talk to them and they just go, yep, done. Sometimes they just look at the photo.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, love it.
Wade said traditionally, like you can get told on the spot that you didn't get it. And
crazy.
How much would that crush your ego? But
Yeah.
ours was nothing like that at all. We spent, 4 to 5 minutes with everyone. Some people a little bit longer. And we wanted it to be a positive experience for everyone that walked through that door on the day. And what's interesting as well is, and I've spoken about this ages ago on the podcast, our size range at Fayt is obviously 6 to 26, and I'm very used to that being our size range. I'm used to walking into any of our Fayt stores and seeing people of all different shapes and sizes. So it only felt so normal for us to do a model casting, and in each group, everyone was completely different in their shape and size. Like there was just such a variety of shapes and sizes, and to me, that's completely normal, but I know in the fashion world, that's not normal at all. And Wade actually, like 10 years ago, he used to work at a modelling agency and he did castings every single Tuesday. That was his job, to do an open casting every Tuesday. And he said it's actually eye-opening how, like, whilst there's a long way to go in like the modelling world and fashion, he said just how different it is to be in this same position again 10 years later. Because when he used to do that as his job working at a modelling agency and people were coming through the door every Tuesday, he had criteria of they need to be like 180 centimeters or taller and they must be like a size 4 to 6. And so it's just crazy that, 10 years is a pretty long time.
Like for the males or the females?
For everyone. And like mainly females, like they were
Jesus,
looking.
I'd barely make the cut. I'm 180 centimeters.
But he said like I think he only worked there for about 3 months. And he said in that 3 months, I didn't scout one person because they didn't fit that exact criteria that he was looking for.
That's crazy.
And I said to him, you probably met so many beautiful, amazing people, but you're like...
It's crazy because like that only represents such a small population of people who
But
shop.
that's what it was like back then. Like
That's
to be a
mental.
model, you had to be really tall and really slim.
No, like you know that. You do,
Yeah.
like I know that. But
Yeah.
like when you actually spell it out and say they only wanted people that are 180 centimeters, that weighed this much, that had this size foot, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
he said
it
that
does
his
only represent
criteria
a small
so
amount.
slim that in the 3 months he worked at that whatever place, I never signed one person. Whereas now, like, we've got all these people coming in, all different heights, all different shapes, all different sizes.
And you could sign any one of them.
Yeah, we love them all.
Yeah.
And he's like, that is so eye-opening, you know, that in 10 years it has come that far. And what a drastic difference for him, you know. So that was just like a really interesting part. But yeah, that's kind of how the days looked. It all ran super smoothly. We've never done something like this before where we've had like groups and down to the minute and everyone had their own time, but it went super smooth. Meeting 30 people in a day was definitely a good amount. We did have quite a lot of no-shows, which I spoke about on my YouTube channel a little bit, which we always allow for with something like this, but it's still disappointing.
Yeah, but I guess the biggest thing you got to think of is that putting yourself out there like this is a lot. Mm-hmm. And some people just aren't ready and you don't know what, you know, situationally things are like in their life. There's so many factors that play into it.
100%.
Yeah.
And we experience the same with job interviews. And again, like if any of you work in HR or recruitment, you'll know how many no-shows there are for job interviews. And I fully get, and we allow, like every time we do something like job interviews or when we organise this casting, I was saying to the girls, you're going to have to allow for no-shows. And we knew it was going to happen, but it's still disappointing. And my thing is, I just wish people would let us know. Same for job interviews. When people change their mind or maybe they get offered another job, it's like the decent thing to do, especially if you've been...
I'm sure in this situation, they probably didn't want to disappoint you.
Yeah.
And they're probably worried that that's what would happen, whereas that's not the case.
I would hope people would know to just like, you know, reach out. Same with job interviews, like especially when you're like going back and forth with someone, locking in a time in an email and then they just don't show to the job interview. It makes me just think, don't go through your life being a no-shower. Like
hard conversations, easy life.
Yeah. I think like even, and we understand that what we were doing, it's a lot more daunting, I guess, and that people are putting themselves in outside of their comfort zones. But just a quick email. We had quite a few emails saying, I can't make it, like something's happened or whatever, and we really appreciate that. But when people just don't show up, when they've got their allocated time and they've been talking with April, like it's just really disappointing. And I think especially in this instance, because this is a competition, they'd taken someone else's spot that maybe could have won.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? So my advice to any of you, not like when it comes to a model casting, but anything, a meeting, a job interview, an opportunity, if you can't make it for whatever reason, even if you have changed your mind or you're feeling like it's too out of your comfort zone or you're not feeling up to it or you're unwell, do the right thing and just reach out. Even if it's 2 minutes before you're supposed to be there, I know from my standpoint, I would much rather have someone just reach out and give us a courtesy email, hey, just letting you know I can't make it, I'm so sorry, rather than a no-show altogether. So that was the one like tiny disappointing thing about the days, and we had no-shows at every single city, but it is something that we allowed for. And I think next time, like if we were to ever do this again, which we might do it every year, who knows, I think we'll add, you know, like even an extra 5 people to each group to allow for those no-shows. So that was like the one disappointing thing, but we knew it was going to happen.
To wrap up this bonus episode, what was your biggest takeaway of the entire week?
Ooh, okay. I actually already spoke about this in a YouTube video that's already out there. But my biggest takeaway of the whole week, and I don't even know how to put it in words really, but I feel this urge and responsibility that I want to empower, especially women, to be more confident. I think like I've obviously been putting myself out there and just giving everything a go for my whole career, quite literally ever since I started making YouTube videos in high school. And I think by doing that from such a young age and just putting myself out there and kind of thinking, fuck what everyone else thinks, I've really built up my self-confidence to the point where without sounding up myself, I believe that there's nothing that I can't achieve. Like, my self-confidence is at 100%. And I've felt that way within my own self and in my mentality for so many years now, because I guess I've done a lot in my career and I've put myself out there and I've taken risks and it's paid off. So my self-confidence is just through the roof. And when you have the mentality of being super confident, I guess I don't think that it's not that easy for other people to just be super confident. But when you're the way that you are in your own mind and you've got your own mentality, like, it makes you think, surely everyone else just feels the same. Like, you know, you can never really think of other people and where their confidence is at. And so I witnessed, obviously we met over 100 and something people, and we spoke with them one-on-one and we interviewed them and watched their body language and listened to what they had to say. And I think like the one thing that I took away from it, which was kind of like a sad thing, is like how much I wish I could instill more confidence in everyone. Obviously, most people that came to our casting would have been feeling extremely out of their comfort zone. They're in a brand new environment, in doing something they've never done before. As for me, I think that's where your life begins, when you start putting yourself in those situations, even if you feel absolutely petrified. But just meeting
Do it scared.
That's the saying, everyone. But meeting all of these people, and like, you can see when someone's really nervous, like maybe they're, you know, sweaty, or they're stuttering or shaking, or their hands are shaking, or their legs are shaking. Like, the biggest thing I took away from it was I wanted to just, like, especially if we were doing the interview part and they were like fumbling their words a bit, or they didn't know what to say, or you could see them second guessing themselves. And Wade said the same, like, it just makes you want to go, okay, let's just stop for a second. Let's take a deep breath. And you just want to like give them a hug and say, like, you are so fucking beautiful. You've got everything going for you. But it's so sad to like watch people's self-confidence get the best of them. And so as each group continued every day, and I did that 10-minute talk to the group, like, we kind of shifted our focus and wanted to make it all about just have fun with it and like don't hold yourself back. Because when you've got an opportunity like this, which, number one, you have put yourself out there and put your hand up to do this and you have been selected, like, that in itself should be something that you're so proud of. And then also, when you're in any scenario like that in life, whether it's a job interview, a model casting, whatever it may be, and you've got a short amount of time to make this opportunity work for you, make the fucking most of it. Because what we witnessed was a lot of people understandably being super nervous, not knowing what to say, or like you could just see them in their body language holding themselves back. Our focus was, we just want you to have fun with it, even if you feel like a bit of an idiot. And so that's what our focus was with every group, because they did like a little pretend reel where they like pretend to have a cute outfit on or whatever. And I said, when you do your little fit check pretend video, like, I'd rather you walk out the door, and same with a job interview or whatever, I'd rather when someone is given an opportunity or they've gotten an opportunity to go in there and make the most of it, even if you feel like you went slightly over the top. I'd rather someone walk out and go, oh, fuck, I think I was a bit of a silly sausage or an idiot, rather than, Xander, them walking out going, fuck, I was in my shell the whole time, especially when you've just got that one shot. And like, that's what life is. Like, getting opportunities, you a lot of the time will have one shot at getting something. I don't know, like, that was my biggest takeaway. Like, so many of these girls were so beautiful. Like, they had the model look, but I could see, like, even just from the way that they were holding themselves when they walk in the room, like, you can tell that they're second guessing or doubting themselves. And it just made me want to like shake them and say, oh my God, you are so fucking stunning. Like, if only you could see what I'm seeing in you. Because, you know, we all have our own insecurities that get the absolute worst of us. We are our own worst critics. But for us to meet these people that are complete strangers and see the potential in them straight off the bat, like, I wish people could see the potential that we see in them as complete strangers.
But it's like what you said, like, people won't see that potential unless they put themselves in situations and overcome
100%.
things. And I live by that. Like, you cannot feel confidence within yourself unless you are overcoming something, unless you are personally growing from an experience. That is the only way you're going to get that confidence. So the fact that all these girls put themselves in this position
is amazing
because I know, I wasn't even there, but I know that all of them have grown exponentially just from doing that.
Yes, I hope that they could walk away from that. And that's what I said to them all. Like, I want you to walk out the door and just feel $1 million for what you've just done.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just, the biggest thing I took away was like, it's amazing, number one, to have met everyone and that they put themselves out there. And I'm sure most of them were absolutely shitting themselves. But I just, even more so, like, I don't know what it is that I want to do, but like, I don't know if I want to do fucking self-confidence workshops just for in general, like not modeling, but in life, because I've spoken about this so many times, especially recently on the pod. It's our own self-doubts that hold us back from doing anything in life.
Yeah.
And in that moment when you're in that casting, like, I could see people holding themselves back, or they were just a little bit too scared. And I don't know what it is, but I just have this very strong pull that I want to be able to give people the confidence that I feel in myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, but that was my biggest takeaway from the week.
I love that.
Yeah. So like, it's like a sad thing, but a positive thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And if you can take anything away from this pod, if you're listening, don't fucking hold yourself back in life. I know it's easier said than done.
Do it scared.
Do it scared. That's what we always say. Don't hold yourself back in life. Like, put yourself out there, even if you feel fucking stupid. When I first started making my YouTube videos, did you think that I thought, oh, these are great videos and these are amazing? No, I knew that they were embarrassing and shit, but I did it anyway. Even look at the way that I carry on social media today. I'm an absolute idiot.
I posted a video over the weekend of me walking home from the shops, and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to post it.
Yeah.
It went viral.
Exactly. Like, you have to be silly and be an idiot and put yourself out there, because that's when life begins. And when you put your hand up for opportunities, again, it doesn't have to be specific to modeling. It can be anything. If you put yourself out there for one opportunity, 10 more are going to come your way.
Correct.
But they're never going to come your way if you just sit back in your shell and say, oh, no, I can't do that.
And you can do that in little steps as well.
Yes.
Like, saying all this, it doesn't mean you have to go out there and do something big and adventurous and totally unlike you. You know, this can be done in little steps. It takes one small change a day to change your life.
100%. And that was the biggest thing that I took away from it. It's like, everyone was obviously confident enough to be there on the day, but just watching some of them kind of second guess themselves in the moment, I just want to say, oh my God, just go for it. Just fucking show me what you've got, because you have all the potential in the world and you're right here in this room with us. So that was my biggest takeaway. But overall, it was this massive success and it couldn't have gone any better. I don't want to give away too many juicy details, because right now, as I'm recording this, we're yet to contact anyone because it's the Monday after we've been away. But I'm very excited, and stay tuned on our socials and stay tuned for the future, because I have a feeling this isn't going to be just a one-time sort of thing.
Yeah, sign me.
I will.
Yeah, give me the 10K contract, please.
Absolutely.